In recent months, the diplomatic relationships between India and Canada has reached an unprecedented low, leading to a series of escalating tensions and diplomatic spats. This deterioration has raised concerns over the impact on bilateral trade, security cooperation, and international relations as both countries grapple with accusations and counter-accusations. This script delves into the key events that have contributed to this crisis, examining the underlying issues and their potential ramifications. A brief historical context. Historically, India and Canada have maintained a cordial relationship, marked by robust trade ties and cultural connections. Canada is home to a significant Indian diaspora, which has contributed to strong people-to-people links. However, this relationship has often been tested by differing political interests and international positions. Recent events triggering the crisis. The current crisis can be traced back to several critical incidents and statements that have exacerbated tensions. 1. Diplomatic spats and accusations. The situation escalated when Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a stunning allegation in September 2023, claiming that Indian agents were involved in the assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a prominent Sikh activist, in British Columbia. Trudeau's assertion not only shocked India but also led to a swift and vehement denial from New Delhi. India responded by accusing Canada of harboring extremists and failing to take adequate action against individuals who promote separatism and terrorism. This exchange marked a significant turning point in relations, with both countries summoning each other's diplomats to express their discontent. 2. The expulsion of diplomats. In the wake of these accusations, the diplomatic tit-for-tat intensified. Both nations expelled a number of diplomats, further straining the relationship. India expelled a Canadian diplomat, and in response, Canada expelled an Indian diplomat. This tit-for-tat approach is often seen as a last resort in international diplomacy, signaling that relations have reached a breaking point. 3. Trade and economic implications. As the diplomatic crisis deepened, trade relations began to suffer. Canada suspended talks on a proposed free trade agreement with India, which had been anticipated as a major boost for both economies. The Indian government also advised its citizens to exercise caution while traveling to Canada, citing safety concerns. This advisory has led to fears of a backlash against the Indian community in Canada, further complicating the situation. Underlying issues. The deteriorating relationship is rooted in deeper, more complex issues. 1. Sikh separatism. The Indian government has long expressed concerns over Sikh separatism, particularly the Khalistan movement, which seeks an independent Sikh state. Canada has been viewed as a safe haven for Sikh activists, and India has repeatedly urged Canada to crack down on what it perceives as extremist elements operating within its borders. 2. Human rights and governance. On the other hand, Canada has criticized India's human rights record, particularly regarding the treatment of minorities, freedom of speech, and actions in regions like Jammu and Kashmir. These criticisms have often been met with strong objections from India, which views them as interference in its internal affairs. Impact on bilateral relations. The fallout from these events has had a significant impact on bilateral relations. Key areas affected include: 1. Trade relations. Trade between India and Canada, which was expected to grow significantly, has stagnated, with both countries now focusing on their respective domestic issues and security concerns. Potential trade agreements have been put on hold. 2. Security cooperation. The partnership in security and counterterrorism efforts has also been jeopardized. The Indian government has expressed concerns about the potential for increased terrorist activities, while Canada has been cautious about how its policies could be perceived in India. 3. Public sentiment. The public sentiment in both countries is also shifting. In India, there is increasing frustration over what is perceived as Canada's leniency toward extremist elements. Meanwhile, in Canada, there are concerns about the treatment of its Sikh population and the implications of the escalating diplomatic spat. Looking ahead, as both nations navigate this crisis, the future of India-Canada relations remains uncertain. Diplomatic engagements and dialogues will be crucial in addressing the misunderstandings and re-establishing trust. However, both sides will need to address their respective concerns: India regarding separatism and terrorism, and Canada concerning human rights and governance issues. The road ahead may be challenging, but both nations must find common ground to repair their relationship. In an increasingly interconnected world, the implications of a continued rift between India and Canada could have far-reaching effects, not just for the two countries but for global diplomacy as a whole.